August 16th, 1977. The king of rock and roll is gone. And the house he left behind, the most famous home in American music history, is quietly dying with him. Within 5 years, it would almost be lost forever. This is the story of Graceland. Not just a mansion, an empire built from heartbreak. Long before Elvis Presley ever set foot inside it, Graceland was already a name in Memphis. The land was once part of a 500-acre farm, owned for generations by the Toth family. In 1939, Ruth Brown Moore and her husband, Dr. Thomas Moore, built a colonial revival mansion on that land. They named it after Ruth's aunt, a woman named Grace. For nearly 2 decades, Graceland was simply a quiet, elegant home. Classical recitals played in its front rooms. No one could have imagined what it would become. By 1957, Elvis Presley was 22 years old and already the biggest star in America. Heartbreak Hotel, Jailhouse Rock, television appearances watched by millions. But fame had a price. His first home on Audubon Drive had become impossible to live in. Fans gathered outside day and night. There was no privacy, no peace. His parents began searching for something bigger, something private. On March 19th, 1957, Elvis walked through the doors of a southern colonial mansion on the outskirts of Memphis. He knew immediately. "This is going to be a lot nicer than anything I've seen," he told reporters. He purchased Graceland and its 13.8 acres for $102,500. It would become the only true home he ever had. For the next 20 years, Graceland was not just a house. It was a refuge, a stage, a world of its own. Elvis renovated it again and again, adding a swimming pool, the now iconic music note gates, and a private world built entirely around him. His parents lived there. His grandmother lived there. His closest friends, the Memphis Mafia, came and went freely. In 1967, Elvis married Priscilla Presley. In 1968, their daughter, Lisa Marie, was born inside Graceland's walls. It was here that Elvis built the Jungle Room. Here that he recorded. Here that he grieved his mother's death in 1958. And it was here, in an upstairs bathroom, that Elvis Presley would take his final breath. August 16th, 1977. Elvis Presley dies at Graceland. He was 42 years old. Outside the gates, 25,000 mourners gathered just to see him one last time. But behind those gates, a different crisis was beginning. Elvis's will left everything to his father, Vernon, his grandmother, Minnie Mae, and his only child, Lisa Marie, just 9 years old. Vernon Presley took over as executor, but the empire Elvis built had a hidden problem. Despite his fame, Elvis was not a wealthy man on paper. Years of lavish spending, heavy management fees, and a fortune drained by decisions made by his longtime manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The estate was, in truth, only worth a few $1,000,000, and Graceland alone was costing over $500,000 a year just to maintain. Vernon Presley died in 1979. Minnie Mae Presley died in 1980. That left only one trustee standing, Elvis's ex-wife, Priscilla Presley. She was 35 years old. She had no formal business experience, and she had just inherited the responsibility of saving her daughter's future.
"I quickly learned that Graceland was in serious trouble," Priscilla would later write.
The grounds, the staff, the animals, the taxes. Every single day, the estate lost more money. By the early 1980s, Lisa Marie's inheritance had shrunk to barely a few $100,000.
Graceland, the most famous home in American music, was on the edge of being lost completely.
Something had to change, and it had to change fast. In 1981, Priscilla made a decision that stunned almost everyone around her. She would open Graceland, Elvis's private sanctuary, to the public. Critics called it reckless, even disrespectful. No major American home of this kind had ever done something like it. Priscilla partnered with businessman Jack Soden to plan the impossible, turning a grieving family's home into a sustainable, dignified public attraction. On June 7th, 1982, the gates of Graceland opened to ordinary fans for the very first time.
Admission, $5. Within 1 month, Graceland had paid back its costs.
It was profitable. The house that nearly bankrupted the Presley family had just saved it. 1-1. What started as a single mansion tour slowly grew into something far bigger. In 1981, Priscilla and her team founded Elvis Presley Enterprises, a company built to manage and protect everything Elvis had left behind. In 1883, EPE acquired the shopping plaza across the street from the mansion, transforming it into Graceland Plaza. Year after year, more was added. Elvis's airplanes, the Lisa Marie and the Hound Dog 2, went on public display. His car collection became its own museum. By the time Lisa Marie Presley inherited the estate on her 25th birthday in 1993, Graceland had completely transformed. What was once a financial crisis was now valued at over $100 million. In 1991, Graceland was added to the National Register of Historic Places. In 2006, it became a National Historic Landmark, the first rock and roll site in American history. To receive that honor, the empire kept growing. In 2016, the Guest House at Graceland opened, a 450-room hotel built just steps from the mansion. In 2017, Elvis Presley's Memphis debuted, a 200,000-square-foot entertainment complex housing the largest Elvis museum in the world. What began as a single house fighting for survival had become a permanent institution. Today, more than 600,000 people visit Graceland every single year. It is the second most visited home in the United States, behind only the White House. Elvis Presley, his parents, his grandmother, his daughter Lisa Marie, and his grandson Benjamin are all laid to rest there in the meditation garden he once walked through in life. The ownership has passed through generations, from Priscilla to Lisa Marie, and now to Elvis's granddaughter, Riley Keough. Through lawsuits, financial battles, and family disputes, one thing has never changed. Graceland has never been sold, never been lost, never been allowed to fall. It began as a quiet colonial mansion outside Memphis. It became the home of the most famous man in American music. When his death nearly destroyed everything he built, one decision, one bold, unprecedented decision, turned a private home into an empire that has now lasted for more than 4 decades.
Elvis Presley once said, "Graceland was proof that in America, a person could start out with nothing and make good."
In the end, Graceland proved something else, too. That even after the king was gone, his home would never stop being his kingdom.